It's just time to grow.
Let's go, fam.
I really wanna know. I really wanna show that we live righteous, walking down that road. I really wanna know. I really wanna.
Shalom, 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 y'all. It's Michael Israel. You are watching Spiritual Combat, and we're giving you all the detailed information for the Great Gathering Hebrew Conference in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We have Pastor Johnson on here live from Fort Lauderdale, and we have a lot of information. Detailed information about the event. So with that said, shalom, Pastor Johnson. It's good to have you on the show.
Shalom, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. I know a lot of people are waiting to get, the itinerary and all the detailed information about the Great Gathering Hebrew Conference over in Fort Lauderdale. And with that said, we can I'm gonna hand it over to you, and you can bring everybody up to speed on and go over all the details of the event.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on Spiritual Combat. I enjoy your show. I enjoy the work that you're doing. I admire you for the time and effort that you put into your platform. Also, the brew room that you have there, trying to put people in the community that has various businesses together. So I want to just commend you for that. And then again, thank you for having me on your show. So the Great Gathering Hebrew Conference, it's coming to South Florida. The Great Gathering Hebrew Conference is a conference that my team and I put together. We did it back last year. The first one was put together by a group up in Philadelphia. Tia Reynolds, who's now part of my research team, she put the first one together. We went to Philadelphia. From there, we started to decide that it's something that should be offered at least around the country to anybody that wanted to have it or host it. The second one was hosted by a brother over in High Point, North Carolina. He was in the Romish Christian Church, Brother Elder Douglas. And what he did was he wanted to start a ministry, but he wanted to start it off with a Hebrew conference. Or he brought the material there. Brother Benayah Israel, who I had been in contact with, he came with me. So that was the second one. This one here that we're doing in Fort Lauderdale at this magnitude, I did not intend to put it together until October. It just happened that it unfolded, and this was just the Most High who wanted it in this season, because I believe that 2019 is going to be a great awakening. So it had to happen early in the year, not later in the year. And how it happened was, I was speaking to Brother Benayah, and I wanted to speak with Brother Dalton, because people at my conference in High Point, we were having a roundtable discussion, and people were bringing up the film Hebrews to Negroes. And so I heard so many good reviews about the work that Brother Dalton had put together. I had only saw the trailers up to this point, and I thought they were very good. I'd never watched the movie, wasn't even aware that it was even out until someone on my research team says they actually had gone to go see it and that it was out. And so I had asked Brother Benayah, I said, I would like to get this brother and interview him. He says, well, I know him. We've been corresponding. We haven't met personally, but we've been talking. So I asked him if he could give him my number, and he did. Brother Dalton called me up just to let me know he was going to be in town on vacation anyway. And so from there, we talked about him coming to our congregation, having an opportunity to speak, as well as show the movie. At that point in time, Brother Akwetey Amaah,
or as we know him, Rabbi Akwetey.
Akwetey, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm saying his name wrong. I'm not good when it comes to Hebrew.
I understand.
So Akwetey, he and I have been talking for several months, since earlier part of last year. I left him a message about 3 weeks ago, and he happened to call me right after I got off the phone with Ronald Dalton. And I told him, I said, hey, guess who I just got off the phone with? And he said, who? And I told him the story that Ron was going to be at our congregation. And he says, man, I'm coming to see it. I'm going to fly there and I see it. And I said, listen, hold up. You're not going to come and not teach, my brother. And so that's how that happened. So then I called up Benayah, and I thanked him and let him know what was going on. And I said, man, there's only one person missing. He said, come on, man. I said, you're missing Ron, Brother Benayah, and you got to be here. So he agreed to come also. So with that in mind, I just said, this is going to be a great gathering Hebrew conversation.
Right.
So you see how everything just fell into place that quick.
Wow.
And so it was something that's why I said it was nobody but the Most High that put this together. So that being said, we're making this a 2-day event. We're making it the Great Gathering Hebrew Conference. What we're going to be doing is we're going to have a talk show. So at our congregation, we have the pulpit area converts to a studio. And so we're going to convert that to a talk show Friday night. We're going to have our production team in full-fledged out that night, put up 4 or 5 cameras, and we're going to have these brothers on the stage. The conference attendees will be the live audience, so they will be able to see this show as it's being recorded, and they're going to be able to ask questions. So that's going to be night 1 on Friday night. We're going to have appetizers that we're going to have from 7:30 to 8, and they'll be able to meet, greet, all that good stuff, take photos with these brothers, and then the talk show starts. And then we're going to allow some Q&A. The next day at 9:30 in the morning, because people are traveling into Fort Lauderdale, we're going to be providing a continental breakfast from 9:30 to 10. Brother Akwetey will start at 10 o'clock sharp, and he's going to go to noon. After that, Minister Michael Norman, he's put out several music videos. He's a great, phenomenal singer. He's going to perform with other people from 12 to 12:30. At 12:30, Brother Ron Dalton is going to do a 2-hour presentation from 12:30 to 2:30. And then at 2:30, we're going to have lunch. We're providing lunch for all conference attendees. And they will be full. They will get a good meal. We're going to be eating right there on campus. And at 3:30, we're going to come back. Brother Dalton is going to crank up the film, and we're going to show the film, and that's going to end the day. So it's a $40 registration fee, but keep in mind that includes the movie, that includes the appetizer on Friday evening from 7:30 to 8. That includes the continental breakfast, and that includes the lunch. So it's a very good opportunity because you got all 3 of these individuals, Akwetey from Kingdom of Kings, Benayah Israel from Hidden Hebrews, And then you got Ron Dalton from Hebrews to Negroes. And you don't always get that. Now, I will say there is a dress code. In our congregation on the Sabbath, we have a dress code. And that dress code is we ask all women to wear a hat, whether it's a scarf or a hat of some sort. We ask that you do that. If you got your hair done, just take a scarf and just place on top of your head and wear it nice and fancy. We want everybody in modest apparel. The young guys that come, we want them to wear their pants to their waist. Just what you do. So that's our dress code. And of course, men, when we come inside the congregation, the moment we enter the building, we don't wear hats. So that's the dress code. So pretty much that's it. During the movie, we're gonna let people be a little bit more casual and stuff like that because it's a movie, so they can be a little bit casual. Some people are coming into a hotel. Some of the hotels are within the 10-minute range from the congregation, so they may want to go home and change clothes. We still don't, we still want you to come back with modest apparel, but if you want to wear a t-shirt, you can relax a little bit. And we have 4 bathrooms on site. So if somebody says, I'm coming from Jacksonville, but I got me a change of clothes and I'm gonna go back home, you'll have adequate facilities to change your clothes if you're coming from anywhere inside the state. So it's gonna be a great event, man. I mean, where else can you get all 3 of these guys at the same place at the same time? So I will say register now. Go to eventbrite.com. Put in the word Great Gathering Hebrew Conference and it's going to pop up right away. It's going to send you to a site. It's $40. Again, you're getting a lot for $40. It's only 14 years of age and up because the seating is limited. It's limited. And so you want to do that. Now, if somebody's got a baby and they say, well, I got a baby, I really want to come, but I don't have a babysitter. Well, you can hold them in your lap, that's fine. But if they do make noise, we're going to ask you to take them out and stuff like that. And if it's really, really small kids, we'll have an area. We have a building next to our congregation where we do have a kids room and stuff like that. So that's where we are, man. This is going to be great. Are you going to come down as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, and so your brother Michael's going to be set up. He's going to be doing some post video after the conference. I have a team coming down from Orlando who go with me to the Great Gathering Hebrew Conference. They're going to be doing the same thing. So I just love, man, when Hebrews get together, we can share things, do things. I love it. I'm very happy and very proud about what we're doing and how we can support one another.
So for the people, cause I know me and the people that are gonna be coming down with me, we all have kids and stuff like that. You said there'll be an area next door for all them?
Yes, there'll be an area. Now, if they are, there may be some seats available because what we did, we made seating available where it's comfortable. So if there's a little bit more and you got a kid that's 8, 9, 10 years old and you can put them there, there's room, of course, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. And also, so on, let me see something. All right. Hold on. That's Ron right there. Hold on.
Okay.
Hey, Ron. Hey, we're live. I got Pastor Johnson on, and we're talking about the Great Gathering Hebrew event. Yeah. It's live on your channel too. But did you? I'm gonna put you on speaker so you could say a little. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll call you back when we're done. All right. Yeah, he was at work, so he couldn't.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He didn't want. He was in front of some, I guess, supervisor or something, so he didn't want to be on there.
Right.
He's at his slavery. But all right. Let me give me one. Let me pull you back up on screen. So yeah. All right. So just clarifying again. So because I know a lot of people are bringing their children. Let me ask you this. We'll go back through here. I'll pull up day one. So day one at Friday, March 29th, from 7:30 to 8 is networking and everything like that. The kids can be in attendance at that, but once the talk show starts on Friday at 8 to 10:30, the kids and stuff needs to go to the facility next door.
Yeah, I'm going to have somebody next door, some of our church staff that we're going to be, of course, we got to pay them, but they're going to be next door, and they're going to make sure that the kids are doing something. They're not rowdy and stuff like that. Maybe doing things with them that are Sabbath kid friendly.
Okay.
Over there. And of course, if a kid wants to go and be with their parent, then we will have somebody walk them back. And of course, if it's crowded, then, we just say either put them in your lap or something like that. Because, some kids may feel uncomfortable and stuff like that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And that's day one. So you said networking and appetizers start around 7:30. Could people show up early, or 7:30 is pretty solid?
They can show up early. I'm going to be there. The television crew is going to be setting up as early as 6:30 or 7 o'clock.
That's why I wanted to know.
Yeah. So they're going to be setting up as early as that. I'm going to try to be down there as early as possible. I'm trying to get all these brothers situated because I have to pick them up and bring them. Brother Ron's got his transportation, but Brother Benayah and Brother Akwetey, I'm going to make sure that they get there, or send somebody for them. But yeah, we're going to be there, and so people can come and just hang out, network, and it's a good opportunity for people to network. I mean,
right.
That's what it's all about: networking, talking. We own the whole block. Thank the Almighty for that. But we have a particular house that we converted to our administrative office slash room. So it's a 4-bedroom house, but the whole living room, family room area is basically where we all sit, talk, dine, all that stuff. And so people can go over there, sit down. It's got a very good air condition. It's got bathrooms there. So you can go there and just kind of chill out a little bit.
Okay.
Is that my phone?
Yeah.
Hold on one second. I'm going to get it and cut it off.
Okay. So like I'll put these slides up here again so y'all can see the all the details of the event. So this is just kind of a overview of the whole event. This is day one. Again, starts at 7:30 to 10:30. Yes. They're gonna do a live talk show with Q&A. There'll be appetizers on day one. Go ahead, Pastor Johnson.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And on the Q&A, we want people to come and just to ask questions regarding the subject, because other than that, you really don't get the opportunity to speak to these guys one-on-one. For instance, Brother Akwetey, is that how you pronounce his name?
Akwetey, yeah.
Akwetey. I've had some very in-depth conversations with that brother. And one is, like I'm going to be bringing out with him because people think that all Africans are Hamites. But this brother can show you that there are tribes that are in Africa that are named after the tribes of Israel that have been doing this for a very, very, very long time. And so you may want to ask him more questions about that, like where are these tribes located in the event that anybody ever goes to Africa. One of the things that he and I got into a discussion about was I saw on a channel, I saw people arguing about the correct way to say the Hebrew name. Some people were arguing and said, no, you're not saying it right. So therefore you're the devil. And that thing really bothered me. When I came across him, I asked him, I said, have you heard all of the different names for the Most High that people use here? He says, yeah. And he kind of laughed a little bit. And I said, so who's right? Who's right? I mean, it's like, because he states that they use Paleo Hebrew, meaning Old Hebrew. He says, nobody's right. None of them are right. I said, huh? He says, they're all wrong. But, people do it to the best that they can. If you know who they're talking about and they know who they're talking about, it's fine. But I said, what is his name? He says, Eve. And so you might have heard him say that. And yeah. I said, so how is everybody's wrong? And we're getting into these arguments and debates. I says, how are they wrong? And he says, because there's no vowels in Paleo Hebrew. There's sounds. So, things like that. And then when you start speaking to Brother Benayah, there's a lot of questions that you can ask him about the ancient books, how much they cost, how did he come across them? Because he's got a very interesting story on that. When you speak to Brother Dalton, I mean, his background, his work background, he's a subject matter expert in the field. So when he goes into DNA, you may ask him those type of questions and put them together. So when you got all of those brothers together, you're going to get a bigger picture and a bigger understanding of who we are. And what I like about all of those brothers is that they know the main focus point is salvation.
Right.
And that history is good, heritage is good, but we need to get to salvation. And that's why I was glad that the Most High opened up the opportunity for all three of those brothers to be at the same place at the same time, including you. I had you and I have never met in person. We've met like this, but let me tell you, you have I love what you're doing. I love the format, what you're doing. We've had some discussions on this offline. You're a very humble brother. You got a very humble format. And I've been very blessed, Brother Michael, that the Almighty has placed people like that in my awakening, like that. I've come across and had the ability and the opportunity to meet some very key players. Brother Jerusalem, I've talked to in person. I've talked to. These three brothers. And I'm going to have an opportunity to meet these three brothers in person.
And real fast, just so y'all know, to hit on something, there was a lot of rumors going around about Brother Jerusalem that he had, they cloned him and this, that, and the other, and all this stuff that he had, he wasn't in the truth no more. He's still in the truth. He still believes everything he taught, but he just had some complicated situations with family and stuff like that to where he just couldn't do it anymore, be out there like that. Plus, I think he got a little frustrated with all the back and forth and different doctrinal stuff that's out there. But the brother is still very much in the truth. He just he put his brick in on a big level and is still winning people to the truth. And now he just retired. You know what I'm saying?
He's right here in Florida.
Yep.
Yeah, he's right here in Florida. In fact, I'm going to be reaching out to him because a group of our brothers in our congregation, we're looking to do some farming. So we're going to go up and talk to him and just look at what he's doing with the aquaponics and stuff like that. And of course, you know, there's people, oh, why does he call himself the aquaponics guy? I don't know. So that's something you got to talk to him about. Another player on the stage that I'm glad that I met is and talk to frequently is Pastor Henry Boyd with the Israel of God. Old school, but let me tell you, he's been around for a long, long time. And a lot of people may not know this, but Benayah Amaah, who took the group to Israel back in the day, that's Bowie's cousin. That's Pastor Bowie's cousin. So he's been around for a long time. So I have had the opportunity to actually meet and interact with a lot of these players across the spectrum that I needed to meet that's relevant for my understanding at this level in time. So I'm glad about that. I really am. I will say that one of the largest organized Hebrew congregations is the Israel of God. Very organized, very structured, everything. And there's a lot of camps out there that I have spoke to out in California. Very, very good people. And there's a lot of good people that I've met that are very good teachers, has very good channels. We're just blessed in the area of information technology with social media. I just wish that we all could get a little bit more together like this, what we're doing. And I wish that's one of my prayers. And I want to do that. And the other thing is that what you're doing on your channel, and that is getting people to work together, spend money among ourselves, start to use each other and network more with each other, and also to start coming together to discuss some of these tough issues that we may have some disagreements with, or how we see the scriptures. And so I did hear about a summit that's going to be in Texas. I was invited to that preliminary. They want to look at me to make sure I'm not going to be one of these individuals that's going to be bringing debate and fights to the table. So I'm not worried about that. That's not me. But we're going to be discussing the feast days, not how to keep them, but why do we do it? And that's my strongest forte.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we're going to go over the event once again. All the information is here. I'm going to encourage Pastor Johnson to post all this information on the Brew link. And let me show y'all that real fast. The Brew link it's a Hebrew Israelite directory. Hold on, let me get it up here. Okay, there we go. So the Brew link is a Hebrew Israelite directory where you could go to, where all events going on in the Hebrew Israelite community are listed, and also businesses and congregations. So you know what's out there in the Hebrew Israelite community. You see, we got Hebrew Israelite people. They make bow and arrows. There's bow and arrow makers, clothing, food, jewelry, skincare. Physical trainers, self-defense, you name it, and also ministries, all types of stuff in the Hebrew Israelite community that a lot of people are not aware of. And like I said, I'm going to have Brother Johnson. It's all free, and Pastor Johnson is he'll get the event registered on there so that y'all can have these flyers that he sent me. He'll have them listed on there so you know all the details about the event, and you know, you're no longer in the dark. Because one of the things I found is, like, a lot of these events were just hitting me out of the blue, or I'd find out about them afterwards. Well, now you can know about them ahead of time. You go one location and you'll know what's going on.
I like that. I like what you're doing on that. So we just have to promote what you're doing a lot more. And I'm going to do that on my channel so people will know where to go at. And so we're blessed to have you here in the state of Florida because we're going to be able to capture every event that goes on. And when you get away on one of these Sabbaths and you start to take, I think you went to Orlando a few weeks ago.
Right.
I was up in Chicago at the Israel of God, so I was able to, was not able to attend, but I'm going to come out and meet you one of those Sabbaths that you're out in whatever city you're in. So you do this throughout the state.
Yeah, yeah, and that Most High led me on that recently. I had already intended on initially I planned on kind of starting a congregation in Orlando, but a situation happened with a sister who had followed my ministry for a long time, and we had done counseling with her. And one of the things she said is she felt kind of alone and isolated. And then we got word in February that she had passed away in January.
Oh, wow.
And we still don't know all the details, but we do believe that isolation could have possibly had something to do with it, and it lit a fire on me. And I'm just gonna make it my mission to reach out and try to do Shabbats anywhere where I feel like if I could get out there. Like Boston is one of the places I want to go to, because I've had a lot of people reach out to me from there, say they feel isolated and stuff like that. So I just want to take that, and I want to encourage other leaders to do the same thing. Go to some of these places. I know somebody reached out to me in Nebraska, and if I get out there and bring the right people out there to get Bruce to come out from the area so that people don't feel isolated, because when me and my wife, Sis Sequoia, came into this truth, for 2 years, it was just us. We weren't messing with our family or friends or anybody. So if you're a single person, it could be real isolated. It could be real tough. But we're trying to kick that barrier down. So,
what is your goal? And I don't know how much time you have. On today's show, you let me know, and
we're good. We're good. We're not under no time restriction. But my goal, as far as with spiritual combat and the teaching ministry, is we teach on relationships, self-development according to the Bible, getting biblically aligned in your personality and in your character. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And again, so that people could get in fruitful relationships, or people who are already married and in relationships. I do a lot of teaching on that, how to properly interact and the proper role for men and women alike. I go real deep in that. As far as going out, I guess you could call it evangelizing, whatever. That's a new thing where, I want to get out and get people to begin to come together and fellowship in a biblical, according to the way they fellowshipped in the Bible, not the typical structure of there's teaching, but there's no fellowshipping and people getting to know each other. So I encourage people to really get together and get to know each other,
Correct.
In a real natural way. And I'm trying to take that on the road and encourage it, because like the congregation, like what happened in Orlando, went down there, a bunch of those brothers and sisters met, and a week later they had an even bigger Shabbat and even more people. And then people heard about that, and I put it out there, and now even more people are gonna be out there for their next Shabbat. So that was exactly what my goal and mission is.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
Well, the scripture says, forsake not the assembly
Right.
of yourselves on the Sabbath. So it's important that people do get together. But within the Hebrew community, because we all have different understandings, and of course we all think that we're right. So what do you think that some of the things that we can do to come together? But before you answer that question, I just want to say I commend you on that, Brother Michael, because sometimes we get so much into studying who we are.
Right.
We start getting so much into line upon line, precept upon precept, this upon this, all of this stuff. And we're not addressing the inner character.
Right.
And at the end of the day, if your mind is not being transformed by the word of God, you're not going to make it into the kingdom.
Right.
That's the end of the day. You have to be accountable. And I like what you did this morning in your this morning show. But if we're not addressing that, if we got attitude problems, if we got relationship problems, if we're not addressing the character, no matter how much we learn, we're like that guy who says, "What must I do to be saved?"
Right.
And when he was told, you know, about loving the Lord, all thy God with all the heart, mind, and soul, he said, "All these things I've done." But then when he was told to go sell what he has and give to the poor, which is the last 6 commandments, he couldn't do that. So those are things, even the scripture says, how can you say you love me whom you have not seen, yet hateth your brother? And so, and if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you of yours. You talked about forgiveness on one of your shows. And it says, if you don't forgive men of their trespasses, neither will your heavenly Father forgive you of your trespasses.
Right.
So these are the things I'm glad that you are addressing on this format, which is why I'm going to do what I can to make sure I support you, but and push people to this channel. But in the meantime, what can we do as, you know, what do you think that is one of the solutions to getting everybody together to respect where we all are? Because what bothers me is when somebody says, "Oh, you don't believe like I'm teaching, so therefore I'm cutting you off and you are a false teacher."
Yeah, and again, that's why on Spiritual Combat, and when I do my morning lessons and stuff like that, that's why I focus 90 or more % on character building, because if you don't know how to properly interact and deal with somebody who shares an opposing, opposite opinion, it don't matter. You and somebody else can share 99% of similar understanding on doctrine, and that 1% will cause y'all to divide, because it's character is everything. At the end of the day, everything in the book was leading us to get our minds right, so that we can do what? Follow those 2 commandments that they said all the other ones hinge on, is loving your brother like yourself, loving the Most High Yah with all your heart, mind, and soul. Right. So it's like, yeah, we don't got our minds right. We can't even have the most basic discussion. Everything will turn into a point of division. I talk about, there's been brothers I've met in this truth where we already know where, like, I'll mention one. There's a brother here in Jacksonville, Florida. He's in the ISUPK. We really haven't even had doctrinal discussions, but if the brother's car breaks down and he hits me up, I'm gonna be right there to help him out, fix it. If he needs something from me, I know anytime I call him and I need something, boom, it's right there. It's not, oh no, dude, you into this, I ain't doing nothing for you. You know, like he a Crip and I'm a Blood. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's just having character. At the end of the day, character is everything. You know what I'm saying? A moral character that's aligned with the word. You know. So.
Correct. And I like that because, and I think this is what this is why we can't sit down and reason together. When the scripture says, "Come, let us reason together," and when we can't dialogue because you're using a name that I don't agree with, you're using this dialect and that dialect, because if I sit down with you, I can't characterize. I can't let that be a point of division.
Right.
And the point of reference we have in the scriptures is when Peter and Paul had went to the Gentiles and they were dealing with them. There was some scribes and Pharisees who were also believers of the Messiah. They said, wait a minute, you're bringing these guys in, but we haven't accepted them and they haven't gone through the proper protocol, but yet you're going into their homes, you're talking to them, and they haven't gone through the proper protocol.
Right.
So Peter and Paul looked, and some of the brothers says, why don't we take this to the elders? And they took it to the elders and they presented their case. And of course, James basically said, listen, when we bring these guys in, let's not just make sure that they abstain from meats, things that are strangled, meats that have been sacrificed, idolatry. And we know, here's the basic belief that they got to have before we even start to deal with them. And then he says, for we know that every Sabbath, the word would be taught in the synagogues. So at least they came together and came to a resolution. And I think that's what's important right there.
Right.
There's certain things that Brother Benayah believes in that I don't believe in, but we've talked about them. But yet we can do a conference together.
Right.
You follow me what I'm saying?
Right.
Pretty much we're on the same par, but there's some things that he may do, and I don't know what all of them are, but I know if we sit down long enough, we'll find that there's a difference. But at the same time, we're able to come and talk and at least do a conference for the greater cause of the good.
Right.
And I think that's what I would like to see. Yeah. And I would like to see people get together and say, let's go over this. Let's look at this from a biblical, historical perspective, and let's put some great studying in it. And at the end of this summit, let's write some things that we said that we agreed with, and then coming out, these are areas that we need to have further discussion on.
Right.
Don't call it what we disagree on. We call it, these are things that we have to have further discussions on in the future. You understand what I'm saying?
And the thing is, that's the only way. That's the way you establish the relationship first, and then you could go into doctrinal stuff. And you see, I can't tell you the number of people I done ran into. They don't even know you, and they're already checking you on something coming at you sideways. And I'm like, hey man, be a human. You know what I'm saying? And that's why with me, I draw my line of division with other people, other groups, not based on doctrine, but based on character. Like if I don't rock with low character, shiesty people or anything like that, I'll cut them off. That's where I draw my line of division.
You talking about in general or just on me personal?
No, I'm talking about when I deal with people in the Hebrew Israelite community, or just people in life. I don't. It's not so much. Hey, I believe this, that, and other. Okay, I can't talk to you. No, I look at people's character.
Yes,
I don't deal with low character, low moral people. You know what I'm saying? That's where I draw a line at. You know,
right?
Because you're not gonna, even if they share a similar doctrine to me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Well, you used a term this morning that I'm going to adopt about myself. And because I've come across people, and I thank the Almighty for my personality that He's given me to be able to get along with everybody.
Right.
It's almost hard to not get along with me, and I thank the Almighty for that. Now, I do have another side that I know it exists because I look in the mirror, but when I see it, I know how to deal with it. I don't ignore that. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, right.
But when you said congregational Hebrew,
Yeah,
that's me. That's me.
yeah.
I am the church congregational Hebrew pastor.
Right.
I even go as far to say I am a Christian Hebrew.
Okay.
But I clarify to people that's not a Romish Christian.
Okay, yeah, and
Hebrew.
because that's something that we had a whole situation like that, and the fact that you would say and clarify it clears up a lot. But there's some who say that, and they're bringing a lot of confusion doing
Right.
it. You know what I'm saying? But me and you have talked a lot, and I mean, if you call yourself that, but you know what we've talked about, I know where you're at. You're very much aligned with the Hebraic, with Torah, and all that, with the Hebraic culture and everything. So,
Yes.
yeah.
And one of the things is this, and I was sharing with a brother one time, and he says, "Man, why do you say that you are a Christian?" And when I explained to him, I said, "I am a original Christian. I'm not a Romish Christian."
Yeah, all right.
the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch. And the word Christian simply means that you have accepted the Messiah in turn. Right. Now, I separate myself by saying, I'm not a part of that Romish Christianity. And so he says, yeah, I just don't even like the title itself. So I took his Bible and I held up his Bible and I looked at him and I said, let me borrow your Bible for a second. I says, the Romish Christians teach from this book. Do you abandon the book because they teach from this book?
Right.
And he said, no. I said, so why should I be forced to abandon the name because they have brandished and tarnished the name? And this is why a lot of brothers run away from the Bible. They don't want nothing to do with it. Oh man, that's the white man's Bible. Yeah. That's the Christian Bible. But it's our job, Brother Michael, to bring people back to the awareness and say, no, this is your history book.
Yeah.
Somebody else may be using it,
right,
and using it to promote Christmas and Easter and Sunday. But when you really get into this book, brother, don't throw away this book.
No, don't
throw away this book. You just threw out your history.
Right. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, because when I say it, I say that Babylonian religion that they have deceptively named Christianity. That's how I refer. Right. You know, because that's what it is. It's a Babylonian, Greco-Roman, Catholic religion that they've deceptively slapped this title on of Christianity to mislead people. Yeah.
Now, when I'm dealing with our Hebrew brothers and sisters, I'm a Hebrew.
Right.
But when I'm dealing with people coming out, because remember, the scripture says it takes a wise to win souls. And you said something very profound in your presentation this morning, that everybody, the harvest has to be gathered from different places.
Right.
It takes a special person with a special talent to deal with people on the street.
Yes.
And as you said earlier, you gave information how a group that goes out on the street and a Hebrew group, but they are very effective. They're not confrontational, and they're very effective in reaching people. I think that's great. And we need people for that.
Right.
But also, you got people coming out of the Romish Christian church who's coming into the truth.
Right.
And if they only see YouTube and they see Hebrew Israelite or Black Hebrew Israelite, and they see people on there cursing, character issues like you described, they don't want no part of that.
Right.
And they're not going to come.
Yeah.
But if this is where the Hebrew congregational, my new title, thank you for that. This is where we come in, because we have a congregation, we have a building, we have pews in it, so they will feel a lot more comfortable coming from the Romish Christian environment that they're so traditionally used to come over and say, wow, I feel I can jive with this.
Right.
I can go along with this. There was a sister that came all the way up from Homestead, Florida. She's been there for the past 2 weeks. Homestead, Florida is about a 35, 40-minute drive. And she came up 2 weeks in a row. I met her for the first time because I was gone the week before.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I didn't know there was a congregation with this type of atmosphere that I can go through. There's nothing in Homestead, Florida. So she says, I'm coming into the truth, but I like this atmosphere. And what she was saying is, I want to come inside of a congregation. I want to sit down. I don't want to be on the street corner. I want to sit down, and I want to be in a congregation atmosphere.
Right.
And I want to learn, and I want to be taught from a rostrum, from that setting. And so I think that's important. But at the same time, brother, our congregation goes out once a month, the first Sabbath of every month. And when we go out, there's a group of ladies in our congregation. They're the evangelistic team. They feed people, they give them clothes, and they bring in people into the congregation. And let me tell you, they go out, and some of the elders go out with them, and they talk to people. They get people who are homeless, people who have bad issues, circumstances, and that is so important to reach those individuals as well, because Jesus says, when I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was naked, you didn't clothe me. When I was sick, you didn't do it. So what the Messiah wants to see is, are you touching those people in all areas? And so I value the camps that are out there teaching the truth, that are out there on that corner doing a great awakening. My hats are off to them, because everybody can't do it. And there's a lot of people that go into the prisons. Everybody can't do that.
No.
Everybody can't go into a prison and take a ministry in there.
Right.
It takes a very special talent.
And on top of that, and be effective. But again, and I also have to commend the congregational Hebrews, which I'm kind of in the middle, but it's like being a congregational Hebrew is more brain surgery. It's very meticulous and delicate, and it's tedious. It can be tedious. But Pastor Johnson, if we could, I'm gonna tell the people how they can get in contact with you. I'm gonna pull your YouTube up here. So this is Pastor Johnson's YouTube page. Just go to YouTube, type in Pastor Johnson, and I was watching one of his lessons on the feast days, because he has a good understanding on that. And he has a lot of videos on there. It's Pastor Johnson on YouTube. I was on one of his shows. But if you could, just tell them how to get in contact with you and where your church is located. Okay.
First of all, I'd like to give my email address. It's bethelhouseofgod@gmail. bethelhouseofgod@gmail. Also, on every Friday night, we do a Bible study live on YouTube. And if you send me an email, you'll get notification when the Bible study is starting. And I do allow people to come right into our Zoom format if they choose to. A lot of people like to watch it and just stay in the chat room on YouTube, because we stream live there. Also, every Sabbath at 1:00 p.m., we stream our message that we do to the congregation. We do that live as well. But we're located in the city of Hallandale, in the greater Fort Lauderdale area. Hallandale is about 30 minutes from West Palm Beach and about 15 minutes from Miami. So we're more on the south end of Fort Lauderdale or Broward County. We're right there off of Hallandale Beach Boulevard. And so we're there every Sabbath. We don't have service on Friday night, just every Sabbath. Our main service starts at 12:30, where we do a little praise and worship, and then we go right into the message at 1 o'clock. But we do have a Bible study every Sabbath morning at 10:30. So 10:30 to 12:30. And then, of course, if you stay, we always provide lunch for everybody. We provide lunch. So at 2:30, we let out, we eat, we fellowship. People just hang around and just fellowship and talk. So it's a very, very nice atmosphere. We welcome everybody. We are a very diverse congregation. We have African American, Jamaican American, Haitian American, Bahamian American, Trinidad American, Hispanic American, and white American. So we have all of those individuals in our congregation. So
right.
everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. So that is Pastor Johnson, and I want to say again, on March 29th to 30th, 2019, it's going to be the Great Gathering Hebrew Conference. So definitely go and register for that. I'm gonna have Pastor Johnson register the event and himself on the Brew link, so that the event's up there. So there's a place you could go to get all the details about the event. And anyway, with that said, we're going to wrap this edition up. Pastor Johnson, appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me on your format. Thank you for the invitation. And I appreciate it very much. And I hope that we can get you on our channel soon to talk about some things that you're doing, because you're doing a great job.
Absolutely. I appreciate y'all. Praises to the Most High. And you'll see a lot. Me and Pastor Johnson are going to be working together on a whole bunch of things, because like I said, Most High, I know the Most High put him in my life. He's right here in Florida, so we can definitely do a lot of
5 hours. Just 5 hours.
Just 5 hours, yep. And with Sister Akwetey Israel driving me down there, it might be less. And it might cost more. You know what I'm saying? Nah. It's like, but yeah, so anyway, y'all make sure y'all check out all this information on the Great Gathering Hebrew Conference in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I hope to see you there. And with that said, y'all, appreciate y'all tuning in.
Go to Eventbrite. Eventbrite.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Eventbrite.com. That's how you are registered. Go to Eventbrite.com. That's the website.
And it's on the flyer. It was on, it's on the flyer.
Yes, on there.
Yep, it was on all the flyers. So go to Eventbrite to register. And with that said, y'all, I appreciate y'all tuning in, and we're going to take you out with Jay Lutch's new song, Righteous. Shalom, y'all.
Shalom.
let them mold you, or y'all might expose you. Fuse and implode, cause you never killed the old.
No more in fighting. It's just